Fat loss. There ain't no party like a fat loss. Gonna show you how. Fat loss. What a phrase and what a subject. It's really hot on my press right now. And I think if you're listening to this and you've ever dreamt or visualized yourself having a little less cushioning, shall we say, around the tummy, the hips, the thighs, wherever that may be in your body, fat loss is something you are aiming for, striving for. Statistically, 80%, probably more, who join gyms or get involved in exercise programs want to achieve that. They might call it weight loss, they might call it toning up, but ultimately what it means is getting less soft, getting rid of body fat. And today's quick, punchy podcast with just me on my own is going to tell you the truth about how you can actually achieve it. Hope it helps. Body fat, that lovely spongy, cushiony layer that's sort of sandwiched between our strong muscles beneath us and the skin on the outer layer. That little cushioning that we do need. We need it. Even the fittest, slimmest, most six-packed person you can imagine has body fat. They'll just have something underneath about 10% or so. It is an essential thing our body requires to survive. And that's not just in cold winters, you need it just in general for the good health of your body. So it's something that we do need, yet most of us have it in excess. And that becomes an issue, whether it be through our body weight or just generally feeling less confident about ourselves. We're a bit softer in places we don't really want to be. And that's why I'm here today to talk about fat loss. The subject that I tackle every day with clients. Statistically, as I said in the intro, 80% of people that join gyms or start these exercise or diet plans are looking for it. They might word it different to me. They might call it weight loss or toning. But ultimately, they want to try and lose a bit of that chub, a bit of the soft stuff, and feel better about themselves for whatever reason that is. And I need to clarify in today's podcast about a realistic targets to set yourself and a very simple 3-step process I would go through with you if you were my client. If you're on our 6-week boot camp right now, this is kind of the 3 steps that I'm taking you through at a pace that I feel is quite fast. In 6 weeks, that is quite quick. But hopefully you'll come away from this podcast today feeling energized and focused about what you can achieve if fat loss is your goal, which I assume it is because that's why you're listening to this podcast. But anyway, let's crack on. Step 1 for anybody who has a vision of being less soft, losing weight or body fat, just feeling better and achieving fat loss. You need to, first of all, before you go anywhere, my friend, understand why you think your life is going to be better as a result of this reduction of body fat. Because as I've said already, it's an important part of our body and our health. And actually, there's quite a big window that we're allowed to have of body fat. So if you are excessively overweight, then clearly there is a benefit for your health for reducing that weight. Statistics will show us a lot of that. Obesity is a big cause of illness, disease, and early death, unfortunately. So if you're someone who has made it into the window of healthy, but you still want to lose body fat for whatever reason that is, you need to know why. The strong, firm why to that is the most important place to start. The first step. Boot campers who are in our group right now, we've spoke about that in week 1. It has been my focal point for you. And it's something I'm going to hammer home time and time again. And you may have to come back to it in the future. Because if you know that by having less body fat, you are going to be more confident, feel more energetic, and just generally be a happier, better person in life, and that means you have better relationships with people you want to, whether that be someone you love, your family. Maybe you can chase after the kids a bit better because of this new refound energy. If you know, like wholeheartedly, that is your reason for doing it, you can remind yourself on those days when it gets tough, that's your reason, and it's firmly cemented, so you know every action you take is always working towards that purpose, that reason. Step one, you need to fully understand that. For me, I'm like a bit softer than I want to be right now. That's where I've been for quite a long time. I tend to sit in maintenance, as I call it. Like, I'm quite happy with life. I don't worry about what I eat necessarily. I like and enjoy exercise. It's kind of part of my life, always has been. So I'm in a position where I'm actually quite happy. The little bit of chub that I'm finding coming around now, I'm in my 30s, mid-30s coming up, and it has crept up on me, just getting a bit softer. Makes me less confident, especially when I'm in this field of work. I'm in the world of fitness. Most people in my game are ripped to shreds. I'm not that, but I'm happy. So my purpose when I'm focused like I am right now, I'm quite focused on my food and my exercise, is just that, just trying to feel a little bit more confident in my body, not as soft. When I'm on the beach in the summer, I don't know if I'm going to be on a beach, in fairness. We're going to Disney, aren't we? I don't know if there's much topless action out there. Probably not what Mickey's looking for, but I want to feel confident enough that I can go and do that. So that's my purpose, and that really is only it. I want to maintain my happiness, my feeling of no stress around food and exercise, which is where I'm happy to be. Yours is different. Get that today, and then you can move on to the next step. And the next step, I call it realism, being realistic, understanding what you can actually achieve. So once you know your purpose and you realize that losing body fat is important to you, you can now move to step two and say to yourself, realistically, what and when can I achieve this? Now, there's a little fact with body fat, which not everybody knows, but I'm going to tell you right now, is that your body, if it's optimal, can only reduce or burn off body fat at a rate of 1 to 2 pounds per week. So 1 to 2 pounds per week, if you are in an optimal state, is the fastest you can lose body fat. So whatever your goal or vision is, calculate it around that. If you've only got 1 or 2 pounds to lose, that's great. That means you can do that relatively quickly. If you're on our 6-week group, definitely achievable. If you're looking at a bigger picture of maybe losing 1 to 2, 3 stone, whatever your vision is, which lots of our clients do, you need to be realistic about the time scale on that and plot almost a line of when that 1 to 2 pound per week can be lost, and then realize that that is if you are optimal. Not a lot of us are optimal to burn body fat, and I'll come on to that in step 3 about our reasons for not being that. But you know your purpose in step 1. You now know realistically you can lose 1 to 2 pounds of body fat per week. Anything quicker in weight loss will not be body fat because your body just simply cannot do it. You can have a time scale by which you want to achieve this given goal, whatever that might be, this direction you're heading in. And there's fors and against with setting a really specific goal. A previous podcast I did with Jill Harvey-Bush talks about that. You might be able to find it on YouTube as well. It's about setting a direction rather than a goal, but I'm going to leave that for today. 1 to 2 pounds fat loss is the maximum fastest you can lose. You know that, you can do that, then move on to step 3. And in step 3, this is where you start taking action, right? The first 2 have just been about getting your mind in the right place, but often missed in my opinion, and a key area. Step 3 now, you're going to just zoom yourself, your vision up, 3,000 feet into the sky, 30,000 feet if you can. Have a look at yourself from the very top. Take a big wide view of you right now. Everything in your life, all aspects that could potentially contribute to fat loss and you being better, progressing yourself. There are 6 areas I'm going to tell you to look at right now. And I've put them into a little image that I'm going to share on social media later on today. So you can look out for that if you want. It's called my fat loss checklist. But I'll quickly blurt them out now. And the 6 areas I'd want to look at on you if I was looking at your life from up above would be these. Firstly, I said purpose. We know that one. That's number 1. Is that in place? It should be because you're on step 3. Second, sleep. Are you getting enough sleep? Only a question you can answer. Stress. Are you in control of the stress that you are putting on your body? Because if you're out of whack and you're highly stressed, or even the other way, very, very low stress, which is unlikely in this day and age, your body's not optimal to burn body fat. Fourthly, calories. Calories are important. You might have heard the phrase calorie deficit. It is trendy. A lot of trainers shout out that that is the only thing you need for body fat reduction. Technically, yes, that is true. Calorie deficit is needed for you to burn body fat and lose body fat and weight. You do need to eat less than you burn. However, on its own, that isn't enough. So calories are important, but this is only one aspect of your fat loss results. So purpose, sleep, stress, and calories were the first four. And then we have exercise. Are you doing enough? Is it effective? Are the workouts that you're doing promoting body fat reduction? Are they potentially impacting other areas of your checklist like stress? So if you are in a stressful state and you're exercising really, really hard and really fast, are you adding to that stress and therefore reducing your ability to lose body fat? Something to look at. Maybe you're not doing any exercise and that's a place for you to start. And then lastly, and often not thought of, but definitely important and discussed a few weeks back with Alex Manos, relationships. Are you surrounding yourself with people that lift you up? Are you surrounded with people that make you feel better, want you to be better? Are the environments you're placing yourself in every day having a positive effect and putting you in a position to burn body fat? All of these areas I've just mentioned, purpose, sleep, stress, calories, exercise, and relationships, can all impact your ability to achieve that 1 to 2 pounds per week fat loss. Only by taking that big wide view of your life will you understand what area you need to focus on first. And I do encourage you to do that. Pick the area that flags up the most, as I've mentioned. Make sure you're checking that off first of all and only focus on that initially. With our boot campers, our 6-week fat loss boot camp, we do one thing per week, one target per week. And it's really hard to do that because everyone's got so many questions. They're so excited. They're so enthused to be starting a program. We get questions about all the areas. They want to tick off everything in the first week. And I refrain. I bite my tongue. I bite my lip. And I just say to you, this week, guys, we just want to get you into this new program. For some of you, starting exercise is a huge task. Like trying to exercise every day is so out of your comfort zone. I just want you to think about that this week. Just do that. Don't worry about the rest of it. I think naturally, once you nail that one thing, it has a knock-on effect anyway. You'll probably sleep better because you've worked out more than you've ever have. You probably feel a little less stressed because you've started moving the body and you're feeling free again. You make better choices with food and calories because you know you've started this journey, but you haven't thought about it. It's just been a knock-on effect. And I really, really worry when I see people try and take on everything in one go. So setting off and being like, I've got to exercise every day. I've got to eat less calories. I've got to sleep loads. I can't stress anymore. I've got to just look at where I'm working and who I'm talking to. My relationships are wrong. And when you take on all those tasks in one hit, it just becomes impossible. Like you can't physically do it. No one can. Pick the big one. Go with it. If food's your nemesis, if you're piling too much junk in your gob, nail that first and it will make a difference. I hope that 3,000 foot view of your life, if you can just kind of visualize that right now, gives you that sense of where you know you need to focus right now. And you can do it weekly like we're doing it on our 6-week fat loss group, or it may take longer. It might take you a few weeks, a few months to nail one of these, but you need to focus on one at a time. You're playing the long game anyway. We know that. If you're looking at losing a few stone, that's months of a journey through fat loss that you're going to go through. So you've got time to just breathe and focus on one thing at a time. Understand yourself. And I think you can only do that by taking a step back sometimes. That's why I love almost taking a week off of everything. A week off even thinking about exercise, thinking about food, taking yourself to a new environment if you can, and having a reflection on life. And that's usually when you come back feeling re-energized. We run our fat loss groups in line with school terms. school half terms for that reason, because people kind of have a week off. A lot of them are parents and whatever, and you kind of have that reset. Your chance to step back and you go, oh, hang on, mate, I'm not that happy at the minute. You know, I'm not happy with my body. I've just booked a holiday in the summer and I'm kind of like, I'm refocused now and I know I need to do something. So you book on this program with Fit with Frank and off you go. And I'm here to sort of rein you in a little bit and say, look, love your energy, love your enthusiasm, but I need you to be structured in your approach, because I know that you will feel better in the end, and know that you're on a long journey now. You'll always move forward one step at a time. Hopefully my 3 steps today will help you do that. Step 1, you've got that purpose. You know why you want to lose body fat. Then you kind of fully appreciate it. So then when you step into step 2 and you start being realistic about setting yourself a goal or a direction, you have a time frame in mind about when you're going to achieve that. And break it down if you need to into shorter sort of goals, so you can kind of stagger it if you want. Do it 6 weekly like we do. And then step 3, it's taking the action and understanding what area is weakest in your life right now and what will impact it. And know that to be optimal and achieve that 1 to 2 pounds per week fat loss, you need to be as good as you can across the board. And you're going to do that one step at a time. And it's an ongoing journey. If you listen to the earlier podcasts I've done, if you're someone who's hung around for a bit and heard a few of these, I've spoken to lots of different people that have lots of different opinions on the subject, but actually it always comes back to the same stuff. If you think of Alex Crockford, the fitness model I had in the earlier days, in episode 4 or 5 or 6, around that sort of time, he's got a 6-pack and he told us the truth about getting one. And he said it's been years of work. This is like something he feels like it's his purpose to have that body shape and inspire other people to achieve that body shape. And I knew him from, I can't remember, I recruited him at David Lloyd's 7 or 8 years ago. And even then he had that vision in his mind and he's kept with it. His purpose has always been clear for him and he's kept going. And it comes back to the same stuff. When you think Alex Manos's podcast the other week, I mentioned he spoke about relationships and taking that big view of your life. It all boils down to that stuff. And I hope by me saying it again today in my voice and the way I interpret it myself has maybe just slammed that into your mind today and given you something to go away from and feel, again, re-energized, knowing what you're going to go and do today, whether it be one of my workouts or just making a better choice when you're choosing a takeaway later on tonight. I don't know. Start small, build up, and I hope it's been helpful. I thank you very much for listening. I find it quite odd doing these podcasts on my own, but I know sometimes it's needed for me as much as anything. But to hear my voice and hopefully get my visions and what I'm trying to do for our clients with Fit with Frank and my sort of online programs that I'm providing to help people do. We can achieve what you want to achieve. You can achieve what you want to achieve. Keep going, keep striving, moving forward. And any help you need at all, please get in touch, whether it be through email, info@fitwithfrank.co.uk, or on any of the social media channels. I'd love to hear from you. Comment, rate, review this podcast if you haven't done it yet. It really helps us get noticed across the board on iTunes, etc. We're doing really well, growing every month. I'm loving it. I hope you are too. Have a wonderful week, and I will speak to you very soon. Katie will be back for Friday Thoughts. I wonder what she's going to think of this one. Have fun.
You've been listening to the Fit with Frank podcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button right now so you can be first to be notified of new episodes released every week, where Frank dives deep, chats with some of the finest guests across the health and fitness industry, alongside inspiring stories from people just like you, so we can inspire and hopefully empower you to lead a happier, healthier lifestyle. Have fun.